Enough problems. Tommy Boyd.
Starting something is easy. It's finishing it that's the challenge. Finishing something is almost impossible. Free call 0500 10 53 89. Think about it, especially in relationships. The easiest thing in the world is to start a relationship, for 99% of us. Getting something off the ground, whether it's a romantic relationship or a simple matter of friendship, is as easy as falling off a log. But if it doesn't go according to plan, knowing how to get out, how to walk away, knowing when to walk away, knowing that the relationship is doomed, it is next to impossible to judge, isn't it? Free call 0500 10 53 89. The man sang that there are 50 ways to leave your lover. There are, but it's a question of knowing when. And then it's a matter of choosing one. Free call 0500 10 53 89. Finishing something is 10 times harder than starting something, which is why, for most of us, most of our lives, as we are living them right now, is a collection of things that we've started that we are not sure whether or not we ought to finish. It's a fact, isn't it? Free call 0500 10 53 89. Finishing something, anything, isn't just difficult, it's next to impossible. You're on the phone to somebody. You're chatting away. It could be a friend, it could be family, an acquaintance. It could be somebody who's rung up to try to sell you something. You still don't know how to finish the conversation, do you? I've got a funny feeling that something like 25% of the profits of all the telecommunication companies all around the world depend on the fact that people don't know when to finish the conversation or how to finish the conversation. How do you know when the other person is getting ready to go and wind it up and go and get off the line without hurting your feelings? You don't really, because you don't want to hurt your feelings, and ditto yourself. Me, I use anyway. It's pathetic, but I find myself after I think the conversation has been had, saying, after a silence, anyway. Do you? Exactly. Pathetic, isn't it? Free call 0500 10 53 89. Finishing a relationship or a phone call and everything in between is next to impossible. What about finishing a book or a play? That's not so difficult, is it? Well, you'd think, but it is. It is. The last line of a book or a play is more important than the opening line of a book or a play. And yet great thought and celebration is given over to great opening lines. The fact of the matter is, you always remember the last line of that book. What was the last line of Gone with the Wind? Of course, you remember. What was the last line of Brighton Rock by Graham Greene? Of course. Fantastic. A piece of poetry all by itself. Finishing is an art form. If you can do it, if you know how to do it, if you can teach your children how to do it, if you can teach your other half how to do it, well, you're halfway there. You're made. Your future is sorted. Free call 0500 10 53 89. Look at 99% of pop songs, not just now, but through the history of rock and pop. They didn't know how to end it. They'd fade. Oh, what a cop-out. They'd write, you can't fade a poem, can you? You can't fade a relationship. Well, maybe you can. But a song, a 3-minute song, I can only think of 2 or 3 that ever went anywhere that actually finished with a zoom. That's because finishing is so hard. Not just the creative process, but the emotional process and a conversation. Free call 0500 10 53 89. Sigmund Freud, the great psychiatrist, analysed at a distance Leonardo da Vinci and came to the conclusion that da Vinci's genius was based on the fact that his father was very remote and difficult to impress. But da Vinci's father was somebody who would be impressed by the young Leonardo starting a new project, whether it was a little painting or a little model out of plasticine. Leonardo da Vinci would be able to attract his father's attention with the beginning of that project. But his father got bored quickly and ceased giving the child encouragement, so Leonardo realised that he'd better finish off that project very quickly, somehow or another, doesn't matter too much, and get on to the next one. And that is why he became such a profound, profligate artist. Free call 0500 10 53 89. I bet you're like me. You never know when to finish. Never quite know when you've actually got your point across. Never quite sure that you have run to the end of a relationship, or a friendship, or, the phone call has... Am I labouring this point? I think I am. Free call 0500 10 53 89. But Ash had to nod. I'm Tommy Boyd. This is Talk Radio. There's a good argument for listening.
0500 1053 89. 0500 1053 89.
You see, that little ditty knew when to finish. I mean, it finished all by itself. It's not just a matter of knowing yourself when to finish. It's a matter of knowing when somebody else has finished. Free call 0500 1053 89. Paul calls from Leicester. You're on Talk Radio. Paul, good afternoon.
Good morning, Tommy.
Morning.
How are you?
I'm well. Yourself?
Fine, thank you. Yes, as far as having a conversation on the phone, I think the best way to end a conversation is to make an excuse like, oh, there's somebody at the door. Let's go now.
Tricks?
Well, I mean, it's a good excuse, I think. I'm sure there's others you can think of.
So you would prefer to employ a trick, which is a piece of subterfuge, rather than say the truth, which is, I think we've covered everything?
Well, I think some people can be offended by that, can't they?
Yes. Well, can they?
Well, I imagine so, yeah.
I wouldn't be offended if somebody said, well, I think we've covered everything, or...
It depends on the person
I've got to get on.
Pardon?
I've got to get on. Although I take your point, it's important to be kind.
Yes. Kind and gentle.
Paul in Leicester, free call 0500 1053 89. Let's talk to Janet, who's calling from Swindon. You're on Talk Radio. Janet, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Tommy.
Janet.
I just rang up to say I'm just so fed up with these animal welfare people wishing us to drop dead.
Oh, I know.
My husband's a pig farmer.
Oh, dear.
He has 120 sows,
Yeah?
which he looks after really well. Actually, I'm just on my way to the vet to get something for them now.
Well, that's nice to hear.
And twice this week, because I say I support fox hunting,
Yes.
I was told the quicker I drop dead, the better.
Really?
And now you've just had that lady on now wishing us dead.
All right, well, now, wait a second. You say you're going to the vet. Have you got 5 minutes?
Yes?
Oh, good. All right, then we'll clear the lines. And if anybody would like to have a conversation with Janet about what she's just said, then you don't mind having an argument?
A debate, yes. I'm all for a
debate?
debate. I'm just going to stand up for myself.
No.
Yeah.
We don't have debates.
Oh, if you'd like an argument, yes, please.
Full-blooded crimson slanging matches, dear.
Oh, yes.
Oh, marvellous. Okay. So your hubby's a pig farmer.
He is indeed.
Right, and he's got 120 sows.
He looks after, yes.
And they all have lots of babies, about, what, a dozen at a time?
Yes, something like that, yes.
And then-
But a dozen average in a year, a dozen, yes, a litter, yes.
And what happens to all those baby pigs?
Well, they're fattened up, and when they reach the appropriate weight, they are sent to the slaughterhouse.
Right.
And they're killed, and you eat them.
And you don't have any trouble with that because you need a livelihood, don't you?
Well, it is the way of life. People need to eat, and
Yes.
if they choose to eat meat, then why not?
Right.
It's happened for hundreds and hundreds of years, hasn't it? I see no
Yes.
reason for it to change.
Is he from a family of pig breeders?
My father was a shepherd.
Oh, I see.
My husband, he's from a family of farmers. Yes, his father had dairy cows.
I see. And your position on fox hunting, in case anybody wants to have a chat with you about that.
It is surely a matter of freedom of choice. The bill is supposed to be about the welfare of the fox. I feel if you ban the hunting, which I feel hounds are the most natural way of controlling foxes, the nearest thing to nature you can get, if that is banned, the foxes will be shot. And I fear they have no chance against a gun with a bullet that follows no scent.
Okay, so you're in favour
So I fear that the population of the fox will suffer. I mean, if there was in the newspaper the other day where they stopped the hunting of the stags in the Quantox Hills, are they not shooting them now? And is there not they're shooting the best ones?
Let's be clear about this. You are in favour of fox hunting because it favours the fox.
Yes, I believe, and the conservation of the countryside, because I live amongst people who hunt, and I know them well, and I know them to be good human beings, and it's such a wide issue. It's not just the hunting, but it's the conservation of the countryside that goes with it. I know a man that hunts and owns land, a 400-acre farm, and he has planted several thousand trees and hedges for the wildlife. The countryside looks as it does today, a lot of it because of the field sports, not only the hunting, the shooting and the fishing as well.
All right, Janet, quite a few people have telephoned because they'd like to have a quick chat with you about some of the things that you've been saying. We'll take pot luck on it, shall we? Because some people will be for and some people will be against.
Oh, no, I'm sure they will, but...
Let's have a look. Let's bring Catherine into the conversation, shall we, from Glasgow. Catherine? Are you there, Catherine?
Hello?
Hello, you've got Janet here to talk to.
Oh, Catherine. Well, I think that's really rubbish, how you kill pigs. I mean, there's people up here who really like pigs. And you're killing them.
Yes, I really like pigs too, but people like to eat food, don't they? They like to eat meat. And so, you know, what's wrong with eating pigs? People have had pigs for hundreds of years. If you vegetarians, if you are a vegetarian, are you a vegetarian?
No.
No. Well, but you don't agree in eating meat?
No way.
No way. Well, what do you think would happen to the countryside if we stopped having animals, if there were no sheep, if people stopped eating lamb and people didn't want to eat pigs, there would be no animals in the countryside, would there?
That's true.
Yes, you see?
Mm-hmm.
There would be no animals.
All right, sound argument. Thank you for that one, Catherine. Let's go and bring in Ken, who's calling from Middlesex. Ken, you're on Talk Radio. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
You're through to Janet.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
I believe you're in favour of fox hunting. It gives the fox a fair chance.
It gives it a better chance than what it will have from a telescopic sight of a gun.
I agree. So when the people who organise these hunts get the people in to stop the protesters, which they do, another function of these people is also to go to the earth where the fox lives, in that burrow, and it's got 4 or 5 escape routes, and to block them up. So it's not very fair because they know the direction it'll be going in by the hole in the earth they allow.
Yes, and I agree. If you look into this matter more, John Barrington, who used to be with the League of Cruel Sports, but he's since left them, he is suggesting that there is a committee set up and there is a code of conduct set for hunting. This is what he's suggesting, not the banning of hunting, but a code of conduct to be set up.
Yeah.
And that is what I'm for, not to ban something.
But the thing about it with the fox hunting is the people that carry out the fox hunting are basically must be quite evil themselves, because when they get a litter of pups, if one dies, they don't bury it or burn it or anything humane and decent.
Sorry,
they throw it in. They throw it in for the rest of the hounds to eat. That's the people that run hunting.
Sorry, what was a litter of?
When they get the pups, the pups for the hounds.
The hounds.
The hounds.
The hound cubs.
Yes,
pups.
When they get the pups, if one of them dies, they don't bury it or burn it or anything humane to dispose of the body.
Yeah.
They throw it in for the rest of the hounds to rip to pieces. That's the people that run the hunts.
Hang on a second, I'm confused.
Yes, but the animal is dead, isn't it?
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm a bit confused here, Ken. You can't really be inhumane to something that's dead.
Well, it's not a decent thing. It just shows the mentality of the people that are behind the hunts, doesn't it?
Yes, okay, you're talking about a dead animal being fed. When farm animals die of natural causes, when a cow or a sheep die of natural causes, the farmer will phone the kennels and ask that the dead animal should be collected. That animal is collected, taken back to the kennel, and it's cooked and fed to the hounds. Now, what's wrong with that? What's the farmer supposed to do with a dead animal?
That's fine. That's okay. I've no objection to a farmer doing that. After all, that meat is bred to be ate. But the thing is, when they do it with a hound puppy that's died, and they throw it in for the others to eat.
Well, that animal is dead. This is reality. The animal is dead.
Yes, but it shows the mentality of the people. An animal, a dog, is classed nowadays basically as a pet, a domestic pet, whether they're a working dog or not.
No, a working dog is completely different from a domestic pet.
There's a certain attitude people have got towards certain animals. Horse meat, for instance, in this country is a no-no. Dogs are another thing.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't throw it to the other dogs, not when they can go out and buy plenty of feed. It's disgusting.
It's nature, mate. The animal is dead.
Also, you said about the using farm animals. Obviously, they're bred. But the only reason we've got such a preponderance of foxes is because the people in charge of the hunts, have kept them safe, so they breed in certain areas. They bring them in from certain areas and put them in other areas. They're just bred.
Ken, thank you for your call. Janet, stay with us because one or two other people, not surprisingly, would like to have a quick word with you about your pig farming activities and your support of fox hunting. The number's free call 0500 10 53 89. I'm Tommy Boyd. This is Talk Radio. There's a good argument for listening.
I'm to Tommy Boyd. Free call 0500 10 53 89.
We began this hour with an academic look at the psychology of finishing. A human failing in so many of us, isn't it? Just knowing when to finish. But the programme has been usurped by a lady who was harking back to something that cropped up in the last hour of the programme in connection with animal welfare, and a lady who felt that people who are cruel to animals should drop dead. That person is Janet. And Janet, you're still with us?
Yes, I am.
OK, Susan would like a word with you.
All right.
She calls from Bradford. Susan, you're on Talk Radio. Hello.
Janet, I'd love to speak to you. You're a lady after my own heart. What they're doing in the supermarkets at the moment, they're selling chicken drumsticks at half price to clear the sheds, to get ready for the fattening of the turkeys, for us all to rejoice for Christmas. Why? I'm also against fox hunting. Why on earth should a fox be shredded to pieces? If it is a nuisance, okay. Shoot it or capture it or something, but for crying out loud, do not shred it to pieces. And why feed it to the hounds?
Right, if you shoot it, you can shoot far more foxes in one night that you'll ever be able to hunt in a day. There will be no foxes left. This is what we're trying to put across. There will be no foxes.
We have one or two, or we had a year ago on Woodside, where they're clearing the woods out, where they're entreating onto their territory, and the poor foxes are coming into the urban district. Those foxes have no chance.
No, I know. And why? Because they're being pushed into the town. And why they've been pushed into the town is because all the roads, the bypasses that are being built, and the new housing estates that are going up that are taking the green belt, and they're being driven into the town. Those that are in the countryside are fit and healthy and doing well.
This also, that we can actually go into deer, because if you go down to Shibden Hall near me, you actually see wild deer running in there.
Yes, I saw 3
myself absolutely terrified. There's nowhere else to run.
No, this is it.
So what man's done in South Africa, etc., is now doing in this country, and we're supposed to be Christians.
That's it, but I mean, if you leave it, hunting has worked in this country for hundreds of years. There is a good, healthy fox population, and the countryside is really doing well. Did you not listen to the 100,000 people in Hyde Park who went there and begged people to listen?
I know.
The countryside is alive and doing well. If you take away the hunting and you shoot the foxes, as Mr. Foster suggests, you will shoot so many more in one night than the hunt will kill. There will be no foxes left.
Susan, let me ask if you're changing your mind listening to Janet's words.
No, I'm not.
No, okay,
No.
thanks for your call. Are you changing your mind, Janet, listening to
No,
people?
because I've lived all my life in the countryside, and it's a waste of time to tell me that the people that I've lived amongst are barbaric, when all I'm getting from people is they wish I was dead.
I know.
And I've never lifted a finger to harm anybody in all my life. I've never been fined for anything in all my life. And to think that people are out there just... And their argument to me is, I wish you dropped dead. Well, one day perhaps, you know, we farmers might just get a bit fed up and just let you townies get on with it.
Yeah.
See how well you can feed yourself, and see how good the British countryside's looking in 20 years' time if you ban fox hunting. I tell you, you won't want to walk in it.
Janet, I'll let you get off to the vet.
I'll go to the vet, yes, because
Keep your radio
my
on and-
animals might be waiting, but...
Keep your radio on, but we are going to change the subject now. But I think we finished for this one, for today, don't
yes,
you?
it's a freedom of choice, and
Yeah. Well, she
although
hasn't
we're only
finished, has she?
2% of the population, we demand our freedom.
Right, okay. Thank you very much indeed for your call, Janet.
Okay.
I'm grateful that you got a chance to put your view across.
Thank you very much, Tommy.
Bye now.
Thank you very much.
Oh, I thought you were going to have another go there.
No, I'm not. I'm
Yes,
around
you
now.
were.
These animals are waiting for me.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Free call 0500 10 53 89. Thank you, old porker. It's an important topic, of course, but we'll finish there for today on that one for the simple reason that I don't think it's one that will ever be resolved. I don't think I've met many people who have been swayed by the argument one way or another. So we'll get back onto the topic of finishing off. Finishing. It's so hard to do. Knowing when to move on. Knowing when to set your mind to something else. Free call 0500 10 53 89. Jody calls from Manchester. You're on Talk Radio. Jody.
Hi, Tommy. I'd like to discuss the turkey issue again. It's okay to eat turkey. Do you have any pets at home?
I'm sorry, no, yes?
You do have it. Do you have a cat or a dog?
We've got a cat.
You've got a cat. Right, so you reckon it's okay to eat a turkey, but say, would you be prepared to eat your own cat?
Certainly, I would cherish the opportunity to eat my
You would
cat.
like to eat your own cat?
Yes, I would, very much so.
Well...
What?
So why don't you have your cat for Christmas dinner?
Well, because there's not much of it. That's not a difficult
Not sure?
one. No, it's not tradition either, is it?
Not tradition,
No.
but we're not discussing tradition. We're discussing human rights, animal rights. Yeah.
Well, you decided to discuss animal rights. I said we'd finish that one. You don't know when to finish, do you?
Well, I think the topic that'll never be.
You
So
don't.
maybe if we enlighten people with more of the truth, then we could possibly resolve this issue. Maybe the people are ignorant of the
but
facts
the other
that are
side,
going on.
the other side think that you're ignorant and that you don't know the truth.
Well, I'm quite prepared to discuss it and elaborate on what I believe is the truth. And the truth always stands true no matter what.
Well, no, that's not true.
Why can't, if it's true, it is true.
Everybody thinks the way they see the world is the truth.
Well,
You know that's true.
well, I suppose reality exists differently for different people.
What's not true is that there is something which is simply true. That's not true.
So you've confused me.
I dare say, but it's pretty simple stuff. And in any case, we finished this topic, Jodie. We're moving on. We're talking about people's inability to finish, to realise that something has come to an end. Whether it's a satisfactory or an unsatisfactory conclusion, it's knowing where to put the full stop. That's what we're discussing in this hour. Let's go to Stephen, who's calling from Manchester. You're on Talk Radio, Stephen. Good afternoon.
Hi, Tommy. How are you? You're right.
I'm very well, thank you for
Good.
asking.
Sorry, I'm going to be a bit irritating because I want to talk about vegetarianism. We're not quite finished that. But what I was going to say, something that Janet said about if, and I'll get to it, if someone wants something, then she's only providing it, she's providing a service for them.
Yes.
Right? I think that's a little bit of an abrogation of responsibility, because if, let's say, for example, someone came to me and asked to have a 12-year-old girl for the weekend, I'm not making a responsible decision just based on the fact that they want that particular thing.
Well, pig farming isn't legal.
Isn't what?
Illegal.
I know it's not illegal.
Well, it's not the same. It's a bad metaphor. Get a good one, quick.
Well, okay, well, I can't think of a better metaphor.
Well, then in that case, it just goes to show that your argument doesn't run, does it?
No, but do you not think that that's not really taking responsibility about that sort of ethical decision? It's not.
Well, it depends on what your priorities are.
It's skipping the decision. The fact that it's not illegal, the fact that something is made illegal is a sort of reflection of ethics or morality.
That may be the case, but it makes for a flimsy metaphor if you're trying to compare something which is illegal with something which is legal. I'm only picking you up on your metaphor.
Okay.
And I would also say that some people have different sets of responsibilities. When you've got a family to feed, for example.
I understand that.
You do?
But there's certain, in terms of farming, I've worked in a dairy on a kibbutz. And you actually, there's arguments against that. But at the same time, there's types of farming which don't sort of kill off the product. So to speak, vegetable farming, things like that.
Okay, Stephen, I'm grateful for your passion, but we've changed the subject. We finished the conversation about animal welfare, vegetarianism, pig farming and fox hunting, and we move on because Zoe has called. Zoe, I beg your pardon. Zoe calls from Bradford. You're on Talk Radio. Zoe, good afternoon.
Okay, basically I'm just going to finish this off that other conversation about the pigs and stuff like that the woman was on about.
See, you don't know when to let it lie either, do you?
No, I'm afraid not.
You don't know when to... What?
I've got to say this. It's, lions kill, like, giraffes and stuff. It's just nature, innit?
Lions don't kill giraffes.
Well, they kill other animals. It's just the same.
Yes, but not giraffes.
Well,
how's a lion going to get a giraffe?
Well, they kill other animals. I mean, basically...
It would need a ladder.
Well, they kill other animals. I know what I mean. And it's like do-gooders as well.
Parachute on them.
It's it's do-gooders as well.
Yes.
Saying, oh, this is wrong, this is wrong.
Yes.
But yet, they die of something else. We're just living.
Yes, we all die eventually. Is that your point?
Yeah.
Right.
We're just living.
We all die eventually, but then we all want to live as long as possible, don't we? And presumably the same is true of pigs.
Yeah. But, I mean, in a way, there was somebody going on about we're Christians and stuff.
Yes.
But in the Bible, doesn't it say that God's creatures was put on this earth as well as us? But yet we can eat them as well.
Yes, I suppose it did. So is that it then?
Yeah.
It's good enough for you.
Thanks a lot.
Good rule book, isn't it, the Bible?
Yeah, it is, actually.
Yes. Do you know when to finish?
Yep.
I think you do, actually, because you're off now, aren't you?
All right. Bye.
Not bad work. Free call 0500 10 53 89. Finishing. We're hopeless at it. Absolutely nobody has got an O-level in finishing. And yet I should think we've all got a first in starting things. Pam calls from Lincolnshire. You're on Talk Radio, Pam.
Hi, Tommy.
Pam?
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. About animals, I think it's maybe the youth of today doesn't know where to finish. I mean, I've got, I don't want to actually say where I come from because I don't know whether anybody's listening that might shoot me fox, but I've got a pet fox. He comes every night. He'll sit at my kitchen door and he waits for me to feed him. I've got a family of hedgehogs that hibernate and I feed them. But last week, a fortnight ago, some youths locally stole a pig. A week old it was, and they dumped it. And this farmer took it off me because, you can't keep a fully grown pig in a residential area. And I knew how big they grow. And he said he would keep it, but he was going to slaughter it. But I have found him a good home, and that pig is going to live. And I think if the youth hadn't have taken that pig in the first place, for a prank or something like that, okay, it would have been slaughtered, but it's the youth of today that shouldn't do things like that.
Right. Yes.
Do you get what I mean?
I'm not quite sure who the villain of the piece is. Is it young people?
The villains are the youth. I mean,
Yeah,
they
young
took
people.
They
Young
took that
people.
week-old pig from its
Yes.
mum and just dumped it.
How do we know how old they were?
What, the youths?
Yes.
Well-
How do we know how old they were?
Well, we don't, do we?
Well, how do you know they were youths then?
Well, I don't think a fully grown human being would actually take a week-old pig off another one.
Wait a second. Have you come on the radio here to condemn the whole of the young generation on the basis that adults don't do things like that?
No, I'm not saying that. No, don't get me wrong. But
Well,
I mean, the average human being wouldn't go into a farm.
What? The young people aren't human beings now?
No.
They're not.
What I'm trying to say is sort of a 30 onwards would not take a young piglet.
So at what age then do people start behaving responsibly? At 30?
Well, no. I think some youngsters are. I mean, my son who found the pig. I mean, he's only 23. And he was heartbroken when he thought this pig was going to be slaughtered.
So you're all right when you're 23?
Well, no, I'm saying that some people can be responsible, but some of the youths, the young youths between 18 and 25...
Right.
I mean, I've seen them sort of going down here...
How do you know that it wasn't somebody in their 40s? This is astonishing, Pam.
Well,
you managed to work out the approximate age of a miscreant based on the nature of the miscreants.
Well, yeah, because I'm only going by the youths that I see walking sort of past my house.
But you can't do this.
Why?
Because you're just making stuff up to suit you. For all you knew, the person... How old are you?
Me, I'm 47.
Well, you're perfectly capable of doing something like that.
No, I wouldn't. Oh, no, I wouldn't, no. No, not against animals. I mean, I would rather ignore a person and look after an animal.
Right.
Because I think animals, especially the wildlife. I mean, I've got some lovely wildlife that come to my garden.
Yes, very interesting. So you condemn the youth of today? Even though nobody saw anybody do anything, it had to be young people?
Well, yes, I think it was young people because they were seen dumping it. That's why I said the youth of today.
Yes. Right. Thanks for your call. Free call 0500 10 53 89. Esther calls from London. You're on Talk Radio, Esther.
Hello, Tommy. It's
Hello,
Esther
Esther.
here.
Hi.
Hello, I just wanted to say about ending the conversation. I think I'm going to do what you do.
Yes.
And say my phone number and cut people off.
What a good idea.
Can I just put my point in vegetarianism, please?
Oh, for goodness
I know. Can I just say it?
Oh.
Just the last one.
I bet you're not.
Please.
All right.
I'm just going to say that I'm vegetarian and I think it's entirely up to people if they choose to eat meat or not to eat meat. I don't hold it against people. And I think animals are there to be eaten and it's fine if people want to. I choose not to because I don't like the taste of it and that's my point.
Esther, thank you very much indeed.
Okay.
At least it was a new point, or newish, wasn't it?
Pardon?
At least it was a newish point.
Yeah, I live for myself. I do what I want to do, and I think people have the right to do what they want to do.
Well, it's a
I
newish...
don't think you should say to people, drop dead because you eat meat. I think it's up to them.
I know what you're saying, but what I'm saying is it's a newish point. I sometimes wonder why people join in arguments and debates where... I mean, I think they must just enjoy the kind of the social intercourse because they're not going to persuade anybody, are they? They're not, are they? You know that, don't you?
Yeah, I'm still here listening. My phone cuts out a bit, so I'm listening now.
Yes. But you're not going to change anybody's point of view, are you?
No,
With
I guess
argument,
not.
are you?
But I just want everyone to know that there are some people out here that are quite open-minded, and it's up to me if I don't, want to eat meat. But some people just like, you should drop dead, and I think it's up to people what they want to do. And I love Christmas, and I'm still going to eat Christmas without my. I'm still going to have Christmas without my turkey. And
Well, thank you. I think we've got everything there, then, haven't we?
okay, bye.
Free call 0500 10 53 89. Dean calls from Leicester. You're on Talk Radio, Dean.
Hello, Tom.
Dean.
What I'm talking about is fox hunting. In the last 3 or 4 weeks, I'm a person that let's get out there and have a look what they're doing, rather than sit at home, read the media, what's on the media, and what people are saying, because I think a lot of people have probably been nowhere near a fox hunt.
Now, you're just pulling rank now, aren't you?
Trying to, yes.
This one, have you ever been to a slaughterhouse? I have.
Yes, well, I have.
Now you're going to say, have you ever been on a fox hunt? Because I have.
I have. But
Yes,
I've
I know.
I've not been on a horse. I've ran round with a fox hunt.
Yes.
And I've done it on the last 3 occasions, partly because I do marathons. I raise quite a bit of money for charity as well.
Oh.
And I do it as a way of keeping fit.
Yes.
Purely and simply that.
You don't
And
just do it, but charity does benefit.
certainly does. The last one with the London Marathon, Guide Dogs for the Blind. So I'm not just making it up. But I'd like to say is that on one actual run, I've got a golden retriever and a mongrel, and they got nearer to the fox. And I was away from the hunt because the hounds were looking in one place. I was 2 fields away, and the fox ran in front of my dogs and actually turned the fox back across the field. So when they're saying about the hounds, and on the 3 occasions they had lost the scent of the fox on all 3 occasions, and I was standing in the group at the time when they were discussing it.
Dean in Leicester, free call 0500 10 53 89. He's been on a fox hunt, he's fit, and does a lot of work for charity. Gillian calls from London. You're on Talk Radio. Gillian, good afternoon.
Hello.
Hello.
I don't know when to finish.
Ah.
Aha.
Exactly.
Someone who wants to talk about
Thank
what you want
you.
to talk about.
No, I found it fascinating, actually, that you start a programme off about people's inability to finish something.
Yeah.
It gets usurped by the fox hunting and anti-fox hunting brigades.
That people can't finish about.
Exactly.
Yes.
How do you finish?
I can't finish relationships.
Where are you calling from, by the way? There's a bit of background noise.
Yes, I'm calling from work, actually.
What do you do?
I'm a draftswoman. I've spoken to you once before, I think.
Oh, it's nice to have you back.
Thank you.
It's very busy.
Yes,
office,
well,
isn't it?
actually, it's not that busy. I think it just appears to be busier than it is.
So, you don't know how to finish relationships or when to finish relationships?
Well, both.
No.
Yeah. The one I'm in at the moment, I've been in for 4 years. And it made me think, because you were talking about Christmas before. And last Christmas was a disaster. Because I spent Christmas with my boyfriend and my parents who don't get on. And this relationship should be long finished by now, and now I'm dreading this Christmas. Because my parents want me to go to them and my boyfriend wants me to stay with him. And I can't finish it. And I've been in this situation lots of times before, because I don't have the ability to. And when I do, finally, then I make a complete botch of it. And we never ever speak to each other again. So if anybody has got any advice about finishing things, then I'd like to know.
Oh, have you finished?
Yes, I'm finished.
Oh,
yeah.
right. So you want to know how to finish relationships?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You couldn't...
Amicably.
Yeah.
And without sort of leaving myself feeling guilty and...
Well, surely the way to do it is to say, can we finish this relationship amicably?
Do you think so?
Well, I can't think of any other way of doing it, can you?
Well, yes, yeah. I suppose it depends on the person, but yeah.
What are you frightened of?
I don't know, actually, because I feel that I'm sort of being emotionally blackmailed. And I know that it's happening, and I know that I'm a mug to fall for it. And that's I suppose what I'm scared of, and the guilt factor. And I keep thinking that it'll be, I mean, it's not a bad relationship. It's just, run its course.
Yes.
So yes, I'd like to be better at finishing that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm teasing a bit here, aren't I?
Yeah.
Not to worry. Did you ever see that Fawlty Towers episode where Sybil says to Basil, "What are we going to do, Basil?" Referring to a woman who's lost some money, but they've just been having an argument. So Basil says to her, "Oh, give it another 15 years," as in the relationship. I think a lot of us live our lives like that, don't we?
Yeah. I suppose I could, but then,
You could always have a false finish.
A false finish?
False finish. I think it's called a trial separation.
Oh, we've done that.
Oh, right.
Yeah, we did that one.
Yes.
Yeah, and then then his mother died.
And his mother died?
Yeah, which
so
I
you thought you better get back together again with him?
Damn bad timing. Yeah.
Damn bad timing, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it was about the only thing I could have thought that would have ever have done it, so I'm a bit suspicious, actually. I think he might have... No, I don't think he had a hand in it, but...
All right, well, look, as by way of practising how to finish a relationship, Gillian...
Yes.
I want you to just finish this telephone call, because you're probably not terribly good at even finishing telephone calls, aren't you?
No, I'm not, actually, but I will now. Bye-bye.
Not bad. Free call 0500 10 53 89. I'm Tommy Boyd. This is Talk Radio. There's a good argument for listening. Of course, there's not finishing and knowing how to finish, and there's not knowing when to start. But that's a piece of theatre that didn't quite come off. Never mind. It'll be an awful lot better next time we try it. Free call 0500 10 53 89 is the number. And we're just chewing the fat, really, on how difficult all of us find it to finish things and get the finish right. And it's something which detains people in the world of art and theatre, isn't it? The ending of that great film, Fatal Attraction, had to be completely reshot because they showed it to cinema audiences, focus groups they're called, and they loved the movie, but they didn't like the ending. And so they completely rewrote the last 3 minutes of the film. And ditto with Steven Spielberg's Close Encounters of the Third Kind. They found some footage that had been left on the cutting room floor, spliced it in, and were able to run the whole film round all the cinemas around the world all over again. All they did actually was just marginally augment the ending. Now, Ash has got a point about Blade Runner, and I don't know what he's talking about. Because
Blade Runner, the director's cut.
Yeah, is that just
They redid the ending, yeah.
Did they do that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Free call 0500 10 53 89. Matthew calls from Lancashire. You're on Talk Radio, Matthew.
Hello, Tommy.
Hello, boy.
I'm just phoning to tell you about my granddad died yesterday, and, well, I can never forget that. I mean, memories never end. I mean, don't you think?
Oh, this is a really important point you're making.
Because, I mean, I don't think I'll ever forget. I mean, death and memories will never, it's horrible.
Of course it is. Was his death unexpected?
Slow one. No, it was a very slow, horrible one.
Oh.
Just slow. I mean, the doctors didn't know what was wrong with him. He couldn't swallow, he couldn't do anything. And just died in his sleep at least. But the point is, I just can't forget them. Forever.
No, of course not.
It'll never end.
You see, is death an ending?
No.
No. No.
It's an ending of his life, but it's never the ending of him.
Not the ending of him for certain.
Because I'll remember him forevermore.
Of course you will.
What I know of him, and
Will you? There's somebody who is spoiling enormously the timbre of this conversation. Will you tell them to put a sock in it until we finish chatting?
Put a sock in it. It's just outside the phone.
Yes, it's rather adolescent, and this is an adult conversation, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes. And how are you?
I'm, the usual, after a death.
Mm-hmm.
But that's really why I'm phoning.
Sure.
Yeah.
You've made a very powerful point, and a very appropriate one, too. How about your parents?
Well, of course, I mean, they're not going to ever forget you, are they? Especially my mother, whose father is.
How is she?
Well, not very good.
No.
So, obviously, I mean, through photos, through the camera, and through memories, that will never end.
No.
That's what I want to say, I'm afraid.
Now, this is something that you want not to end. You're going to keep alive
exactly.
in many ways as possible. And surround yourself with mementos and photographs.
Yeah.
Quite rightly.
Okay. Thank you, Tommy.
Thank you for your call.
Bye.
Bye-bye. God, can't some younger brothers and sisters be annoying? Free call 0500 10 53 89. Jem calls from Hampshire. You're on Talk Radio, Jem. Hello.
Tom.
Jem.
I've been struggling to get my extension and alterations on my home finished by Christmas, and now Christmas is finally with us. I've obviously failed miserably.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Although you probably did have December the 24th in your mind when you gave yourself that
That was the date I'd
timetable.
initially thought of, I must admit, but of course now it's arrived sort of early on in November.
You're trying to blame me, aren't you? Simple
Totally.
as that, yes. Well,
Yeah.
that's fair. That's what we do, isn't it? Whenever anything doesn't quite go according to plan, isn't it amazing how our mind immediately lurches into who can I blame for this cock-up apart from me mode?
That's right. That's right. Yes. No, we're struggling on, and I think we've got absolutely no chance of getting it done by the big day. Because of course you have all the pressure applied, don't you? You have to try and get this thing done. And
where have you got to with your extension?
Oh, well, I've done quite well. I mean, we're at the decorating stage, but of course it sort of slows up at that phase, really. I mean, we've got everything else done. The donkey work's all done, but it's just the finishes, really.
So what have you got left to do?
Decorating, predominantly.
When you say decorating, there's decorating and decorating.
We're at the stage where we've got papering to do, and we've got ceiling finishes and all this sort of thing, and we're struggling along.
Ceiling finishes isn't decorating.
You don't think?
No, it isn't. You've still got structural work to do.
A little bit, yeah, a little bit.
You don't get the painter and decorator in to do your ceiling finish, do you? That's the builder's job.
Yeah. This is the decorating that we're trying to do.
I'm trying to get to your mindset here, really.
I know.
Yes.
Yeah, but no, we've struggled along for many months now, and done all of it ourselves because initially that was my sort of background, my trade is in that, and really we've got to that annoying stage, where we just can't quite get the finished product.
But then you see, is anything finished?
I suppose not.
It's not, is it?
We're always looking for something else, aren't we?
You've got to make up your mind to say that's it now. I'm not doing any more.
Yeah.
Even though it doesn't appear to be completely finished. That's it.
That's absolutely right.
We've had a wire poking out of the wall in our bedroom for 5 years, and I've lain there in bed every morning and looked at it and gone, I've got to do something about that because the bedroom's not finished.
Yeah. Well, I've got a sort of background in the construction industry, and it's like the mechanic's car, isn't it? It's always your own one that you do last. You sort of sort everybody else's out, but not my own, sadly. But there we are.
Yes, I would have thought if you're in the trade, building for yourself must be a nightmare.
Well, I was in the trade. I had a trade initially, but I'm now an architect.
Right.
And I'm doing sort of plans and things for other people. But in my early days, I was a carpenter and joiner. So it's been quite fun. It's been quite therapeutic getting back to the trade and doing the work on the house. But it's just dragging a bit now. But as I say, now Christmas is upon us. I've got no chance at all.
Jem in Hampshire, thank you. Esther is in Weston-super-Mare. You're on Talk Radio, Esther. Hello, Esther.
Hi.
Hi.
My problem is that I have an inability to finish things. It's awful, really. It stems from when I was a kid. Sports day. I was really good at running. And I used to do the 100 yards. Is it 100 yards, 100 metres?
Depends on how old you are.
About 7 I was. And I'd just get near the end, and then I had this really heavy feeling in my arms and legs. I think, I can't finish this. And I always stop. And this happens whenever I decorate, whenever I cook, or anything I do. I just get to the end, and then I get this awful feeling in my arms and legs. I think, I can't do it. Why?
Fascinating.
Why did this happen? I'm petrified about it. It's awful.
Fascinating. And I'm glad that you brought sport into the conversation, because you often get sportsmen and women and entire teams that cannot kill off the opposition.
I know. I don't know what it is. I don't know. Perhaps your mind kicks in or takes over. And honestly, I get this physical feeling. It's heavy. My arms and legs feel heavy.
Do you remember the tennis player Novotná?
No.
I say remember. She's still playing. She had the Wimbledon women's singles title at her mercy about 3 years ago. She was beating Steffi Graf something like 5-0 in the third set. And she lost it because she couldn't kill her off.
I don't know what it is. Yeah.
Now, is it some sort of emotional dysfunction, or is it something that we should be proud of? Because, particularly when it comes to killing somebody else off in sport, it's an act of compassion.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not a sporty person now, so obviously I'm not affected.
No.
I'm a lazy person now. But as far as decorating is concerned, I love decorating. But I get to that last piece of paper or the finishing touches, and I just think, I can't finish this. And I do a bit of floristry for people, bridal floristry. I'm not, advertising or anything. But I get to the last bouquet or something, I think, I can't do this. It's awful.
I can hear a syndrome coming on here, Esther.
I'm petrified now because my husband and I are just about to buy a house.
Yes.
Well, in a couple of months. And he's a tradesman, and you know what they say, if you've got a trade, you never get round to finishing anything in your own home. I think our house is going to be a mess for years, you know, because I'm just going to be wanting to decorate and not finish it. And he's going to be so busy working on other people's houses that, you know, I don't know what to do.
I think we've uncovered a rich vein here.
Yeah,
Esther,
there
don't
must
you?
be something wrong with me.
There's bound to be a syndrome that we can concoct to explain this away.
I mean, it's just happened to me now.
What?
I tried to make myself a cup of tea, something so simple.
Yeah.
Right? And the kettle boiled and the tea bag's in the cup. And I just think, yeah, I got this heavy feeling in my arms and legs. I can't, I wonder if it's because I can't be bothered. Do you think that might be it? I get to stage, I think, No, we tea room psychiatrists will tell you that it's something much deeper rooted than that. It's definitely got something to do with your relationship with your father or something. My
Ask
father?
Freud. That's what Freud said it was with Leonardo da Vinci, dear.
Yeah, perhaps. Can I just say one thing? I'm not going to talk about...
No, you see, that's a very good trick if you're finishing this conversation.
No, it's really important.
Go on, then.
Can I just say that my husband's bound to be listening?
Yes.
Ian, you've left your mobile at home. I can't contact you. And it's carnival night, and he's never going to get through the traffic.
Carnival?
Oh, it's awful.
In Weston-super-Mare?
Oh, it's awful.
In November? A carnival?
It's horrible.
How very surreal.
Oh, it's awful. It's the same every single year. It's awful. You know, people wearing tassely wigs and... Oh, it's awful. And we can hear it because we live in the town centre.
Yes.
And you can't park, so, you know.
No.
Terrible.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Don't ever go to Weston.
Esther, it's been lovely talking with you.
Thank you.
I've got to squeeze Stan in, who's our last caller at this carnival in Weston-super-Mare.
Oh, too late.
Stan, it's not. You're on Talk Radio.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, my job is I'm a finisher of gold and silver. So it's a job that people require high standards, and I do it all day long. So I get the satisfaction of seeing something that someone else has made, but finally finished, and I'm the first one to see it. Some jobs take me an awful long time. I was on one this year for 4.5 months, and others take a matter of 10-15 minutes, depending on the size of the job. Hi, are you still there, Tom?
Yes, Stan, you are stunning. You have finished. And if it's not too in for a thing to say, you've finished on time. You are a finisher.
Thanks a lot, Tom.
Thanks for your call.
Take care.
Stand by for Peter Dealey, who is next. I look forward to talking with you at 2 tomorrow. I'm Tommy Boyd. This is Talk Radio.
Don't forget to subscribe and like. Comment too if you wish. Even slap your legs and make a purchase from Ann Summers. But don't do nothing.